I'm thrilled to announce that this season's sponsor, Ruby, is a personal favourite of mine. It is the premium at-home beauty and wellness services platform. Ruby works with an incredible network of expert professional beauty and wellness therapists that can be booked directly to your home to deliver a host of treatments, from blow dries to manicures, makeup and massages. Ruby vets all of their therapists, and I cannot fault the quality. I've been using the services for many years, and I've always had a 5-star experience. In a world where we're so busy, with limited time available to have our much-needed treatments, Ruby allows you to get your time back in the luxury of your own home. Whether it's a 7 a.m. pre-work blow-dry, a relaxing evening facial, a last-minute spray tan, even IV drips which you can book up to 60 minutes in advance in London, Manchester, Liverpool and now Zurich too. Since launch, Ruby has firmly positioned itself as the leading luxury on-demand beauty services app and has fans including Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Robbie and Ida Williams and Abby Clancy, and has been approved by the most discerning of beauty editors. The Ruby app is available on the App Store and Play Store. You can also book your treatments online via their website. It is super simple to use, and when you book, use the code STYLEDNA for £20 off your first treatment. Today, I'm going on a style journey with the author, diversity advocate, speaker and influencer, the simply positively infectious Candice Brathwaite. Hello and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you sitting here. Resplendent. I mean, sorry, can we just talk about this coat?
This coat has been on my Pinterest board for 2 years. When it first appeared, the price was so egregious, I was like, absolutely not. But I'm of the school of thought that everything that I love loves me too. And it will find its way to me. I'm about a 30-minute drive from somewhere called Bicester Village, which is like an outlet space. It's Prada. I go in there a couple days ago. Pick it up. It's winking at you. It's smiling. It's winking. And no, I wait to pick it up and then I pause because I remembered the original retail price, which was, do you mind me asking, £5,230. And then the essay was like, no, you want to look at that price. Flicked it over, not half price, then down to £1,200. And she was like, also, there's an extra 40% off today. And my husband was like, you just have a knack for this. Because I'm patient with everything, but especially when it comes to clothing and style, I will wait 10 years for a piece.
What have you teamed it with?
Prada, ASOS, Free People, and no one can see my feet, but a great shoe designer called Amina Muradi, whose shoes I find to be so comfortable. You know, I'm a tiny lady, and so I'm typically always in a heel, and her heels are very, very comfortable.
Do you ever wear flats?
Yeah, that's something like that.
Oh, okay. No, because a friend of mine, and in fact a previous guest, wore heels all her working life, her life, all the rest of it. So much so that she shortened her calves, sort of like Dolly Parton, shortened her calf muscles. And then, so basically, whenever they take their heels off, they're walking around on tiptoe anyhow because...
Yeah. So my mum, 5'2", makeup counter girl, but then went into selling shoes. Always so pristinely turned out. I mean, beauty pageant level. Hair done in the hairdresser every week. 6-inch heels every day. Stockings with a seam that run at the back. A delicious faux fur in the winter. Always a red lipstick. And I remember looking up at her as a girl and being like, yeah, one day.
That's amazing. And your latest book, Manifesto, came out in September.
Yeah.
Became an instant Sunday Times bestseller. So did you manifest that?
Absolutely. The way I've manifested the rest of my life, I see it so clearly. And I also see the bits people don't want to see so clearly.
Like,
I know there's a health scare brewing.
why do you know that?
I had a very in-depth meditation 3 years ago where I was able to meet my 40-year-old self. And 40-year-old me told me that I would have a health scare that rocked everyone around me. But it shouldn't rock me because I already know it's just a scare and that I'm going to be fine.
But do you ever worry that because you feel you know that you are going to manifest that health scare?
I feel like it would have played out exactly the same.
So do you, I've read that you meditate,
Yes.
but I also read, or listened to you saying there is no perfect meditation, and you know that the little mind bugs or whatever, and that made me feel a lot better because so often when I try to meditate, it's the little.
Yeah, the little noise will creep in.
But what I loved is that you were so positive about it, and so that it doesn't matter because you're still there.
It's the most calming, peaceful thing, even with the little things that come in and out. And I see my brain like the trash in our computers now. A noise will come in, you have to drag it to the trash, reboot, and start again. And for the years I've been meditating, maybe I've had 3 or 4 of those out of body, totally calming meditation experiences. But that typically doesn't happen all the time, but it's so, so worth it.
What brought you to meditation in the first place?
So there was an internal voice that was like, you must just try this thing. And I was like, I absolutely don't want to do that. Meditation is not for people like me. By people like me, I mean very busy, at the time working class Black women who just have to get on with it. I've never been shown the privilege of a woman like me meditating, taking care of her mental health. Please, I don't have time for that. And then the voice got louder and louder. The struggle with meditation was because I didn't understand that I was worthy of that kind of peace. I thought I could only be highly strung for the rest of my life. Or actually, I cannot produce, I cannot be a success without stress.
Tell me about the inspiration behind Manifesto.
The inspiration behind Manifesto was me trying to encourage women like me, or people that perceive themselves to exist in the margins of society, be that by race, class, disability, socioeconomics. Manifestations seem to be reiterated by the same kind of person again and again and again. And whilst I take so much from those people and I'm able to look past the visible physical difference or the lifestyle difference, I thought to myself, so many people, especially Black women, are not squeezing the juice out of their life because they're not being met where they are at by who they are. So I thought, I'm a Black woman who's really honed the art of manifestation. I'm going to write this book for everyone. You know why? Because Black women especially have to think about everyone. Yeah. White people typically don't. You're not taught to think about anyone but yourself. We would hope, as the terms like allyship grow, that people choose to do that, but that's not the typical encouragement. I have always existed in the background, and when I produce material, I typically have to think about including everyone. So I was like, I think I'm going to write a book about manifesting. So typically, especially in the Black British publishing space, to get a book deal, you typically have to write about something traumatic. Abuse, racism, la-di-da-di-da. And I've had my trauma porn books. And I was like, no, I'd like to write something a little bit lighter, or at least to me, happier, and just more inclusive in positivity in general. And that's where Manifesto came from. Manifesting is of the devil. Absolutely. It's so not Christian. Anything that is seen as you having quote unquote power or liberty over your own life is not taken too kindly in the Black community.
That's fascinating. I've never heard that.
And most of the pushback for this material has come from my own community. I am so used to that by now that it's like, I don't hear it. It's like a dog whistle. But I can appreciate how many Black people are like, we absolutely don't do that because it it's not Christian, it's not godlike. And so Manifesto actually tries to marry the two. And I think it does it very, very well because I was raised in the church. My grandparents, Pentecostal and Baptist. I used to be in the choir. I get it. And yes, I do believe in God. And I'm less keen on the Bible, but I do believe in God. And so this is me starting to poke at that also. It's so funny because a title like Manifesto, Unlock the Life You Deserve, I think people think they're in for a light read. There's a lot of historical context that comes in a book like this and written by a woman like me that you won't find in any other manifestation material, just by proxy of who's writing it.
You know, you have this incredible voice, Candice. You really do. You're challenging the norms. You're promoting positive change in the realm of diversity and representation. How did you find that voice?
My maternal granddad and my biological father, for sure. So I was raised by my maternal granddad. Shortly before I was born, he was mugged and they left him blind in one eye. And he was deemed as unfit for work, so he never worked again. And when my mum had me and I was the first grandchild on both sides, she wanted to go back to work and she was living at home. And my granddad was like, and Candice will stay right here with me. No babysitter, no childminder. I will raise her. And that he did from the ages of 0 to 10.
Going back to childhood in Brixton,
Yes.
what was your earliest memory of clothes making a difference to you?
It was the fact that my school had no uniform and my granddad still put me in one. Oh, what did you wear to school? So it was a grey pinafore, a navy cardigan, white socks, black shoes, and matching navy ribbons in my hair.
So a proper uniform.
A proper uniform, and just high octane embarrassment because I'm the only one in school. It's a non-uniform school. Because I remember one day sneaking clothes into school.
In your backpack?
In my backpack, like putting it under the lining of the backpack, getting into school, running into the toilet, changing the outfit, spending the whole day just being so jazzed up because everyone's like, oh, Candy, you look so good in your own clothes. Changing right before Granddad comes, and then getting the walloping of my life because my teacher had called him and had been like, hi, George, this is not like Candice.
At what age?
So I was like, 7? And he had come during playtime and spied on me from school gates. He was like, Booby, clothes are important, especially to him. He was like, I came to this country from the Caribbean to the signs of no blacks, no dove, no Irish.
So he was
Windrush generation.
Wow.
And he was like, my outfit always moved the needle on respect, on getting the job. And to this day, on any given day, my granddad will wear a 3-piece suit and a pocket watch.
I have to say, those images of the Windrush generation descending from the ships, I find them so deeply moving, how beautifully everyone was dressed up. It was a big, proud moment. It's just, I love those images.
And those are the images that I got to live in.
Yeah.
You know, my nan, I think she's got like 6 or 7 wardrobes. And she can crochet and knit. And she came from a generation that can mend very well. And, you know, maintain their clothes to a high standard. And I did have a period of absolutely not caring. It was rebellion and maybe not feeling so confident. But now, oh, my clothes are my armor for sure.
I often ask, are clothes your armor? Because I think they are. I don't care if it's a cashmere sweater or it's how we present ourselves. It doesn't have to be hard and tailored. And
It speaks before I do. I know for sure there's been a time an outfit has landed me in a job or got me in a room.
when did your passion for fashion start emerging?
Okay, so I went to a performing arts school called the Brit School of Performing Arts, most famously Adele, Amy Winehouse. Went there at 13, again, and a school where you didn't have to wear uniform, and I was old enough to make that decision now. And that's where it really started to come alive because at that age, everyone is trying to show their personality and their flair through clothes. And it's so funny to watch it come back again. To be old enough to see trends come around the second time is very interesting. But the 90s were a big deal. So our jeans were the baggies. I mean, we're wearing these huge leather jackets.
And where were you finding those?
There was a great shop, the back on Bond Street, called Probito. There is a liberty that has come in my wardrobe that has definitely come with making more money. When I was younger, there was no such thing as fast fashion. It was what you could afford, and you just made that stretch. You mended, you made it work. And I love secondhand and vintage because of the idea of the lifeline.
I couldn't agree more. What's your best vintage find?
1988 Chanel Classic Flap. Reason being, I bought it for my 30th birthday and I was born in the year of 88. And she's battered and bruised and the leather's patinaed and is really flat.
Oh, so you were about to go on to your wedding dress because that's one of my questions. Tell me about it.
Yeah. We decide to get married finally. Walk in, we're like, we know you're going to have a huge backlog. Let's look at somewhere next year. She's like, no, someone just cancelled. You can get married in 7 weeks. We were like, oh, sure, let's do it. Me, having never been that person that thinks about their wedding or, oh my gosh, it's horrific. It's a minefield. The second you say wedding, the price goes up, the anxiety goes up. I was a size 16 to 18 then, which made finding a dress even harder because it just felt as though fuller figured women or plus size women were locked out of that market. Good old Bicester Village, I'd gone there maybe for the 4th time. Absolutely not wanting to go on this trip because finding something I love just wasn't happening. Went into Oscar de la Renta, was trying on something else in the changing room, and their stockroom doors popped open with a hoover. I was like, sorry, what is that? She pulls it down. It's my size. Not only is it my size, original retail price £22,000. She sells it to me for 700 quid. No, because it's about to go to Laventfield. I was like, what are you saying? She was like, it's so old season-wise that we were struggling to sell it, so it was just going to end.
You mentioned your size. Can we talk about body image for a second? Is it that so you've been on a bit of a body transformation?
So what's really interesting though, before I had my kids, I was a super runner. Many marathons, halves and ultra marathons under my belt. We've gone to do our life insurance and the premium is really high because of my weight. I didn't want to acknowledge it at the time, but I know subconsciously I made a mental note. I don't like literally being penalized because of the weight. Although also recognizing that my knees hurt, my back hurt, standing up for more than half an hour was getting pretty annoying. Again, I'm only 4'11",
It just didn't feel healthy.
where was I putting this weight? I was running 5K maybe 3 days before Esme was born.
My gosh.
So I was so committed to that version of myself. Got back to her pretty quickly after Esme. 5 years later, my son comes along, lost the gusto for a bit. Then pandemic happens, and that's when everything's just supercharged, and you're let out for 1 hour a day. You're just eating and doing whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Internally, I was like, enough is enough. But I was scared of meeting this version of myself. I was so comfortable. I was so comfortable not acknowledging that to some degree I was killing myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, really focusing on upping the muscle. I feel better. I look better. I sleep better. I recover better. Also, if there's one thing I want every, especially woman listening, to understand, better to build a sustainable body than just focus on the smallest body.
Yeah.
It's typically non-sustainable.
Yeah. Yes, you're so right there. And actually that feeling of strength. Coming back to style, when do you feel you discovered your personal style DNA?
This is going to shock some people, but I would say early 30s. So not that long ago, given that my next birthday is 37. But I would say, especially being in the public eye, especially having social media profiles, there was definitely in my late 20s this idea that I should be dressing like everyone else. And the people around me at the time, white middle-class yummy mummies, Boden, M&S, hiking boots. Oh God, I'm getting shivers just saying these skis, guys. Please. I've deleted all the images from Instagram, so don't even try and scroll because it wasn't real. And then, one day I woke up and was like, no, what does it mean to dress like you?
Yeah.
And to not be dressing to cosplay as something or someone else. And that really started to come around, I'd say, about 33, 34.
Honestly, in all my years designing, working with women, I would say very young. So it's that old soul in you coming out again. How do you describe your style DNA in 3 words?
Sarah Jessica Parker. So when I see Carrie in an outfit, I do truly believe Sarah would wear that outfit. And when I get dressed, there is an element in my mind that's like, how can we clarify this? I love shock value and I love ridiculous things. Currently, I'm obsessed with very silly novelty handbags.
Can we just talk about that for a second? I think there's one over there.
Do you think?
Love it. Love it. But do you have a style icon?
Yes, I have a few. Sarah Jessica Parker, Tracy Ellis Ross, the daughter of Diana Ross, and the celebrity stylist June Ambrose.
Now, I know you love your beauty.
Yes.
Your beauty routine is that heart of your self-care?
Absolutely. Not okay.
Because you've got the most exquisite skin.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I wouldn't say it's self-care. My beauty process is hygiene.
Yeah.
When we say something self-care, it's up for debate. It's like, if I can make the time, if I can do it. When it comes to skincare and makeup for me, it's hygiene.
I've seen pictures of you taking the sun.
Yes.
Careful in the sun.
So careful.
Because light skin can be very, very sensitive in sun.
And I'm late to the game with that because, again, we naturally come from West Africa and the Caribbean. There is this idea that, oh no, we're built for it. I would say, and I don't know the data, so I don't want to push it, but I would say my auntie who has never left Barbados perhaps has a better immune system and defenses to the sun. That me, as someone that's been raised in a vitamin D lacking space, just doesn't have.
Look around us.
I don't have it. And so now I'm wearing sunscreen today. I call her my auntie. My wonderful auntie Caroline Hirons taught me that the UV rays are always penetrating. Just even though you can't see the sun, she can always see you. So it's always on. And when I do love to sunbathe, but I'm topping up on the oil, on the cream, I'm very aware of the damage the sun does, but also how much I need it.
Can we talk about your hairs? As I walk round the back of you, but there's a gorgeous sort of ripple going on there.
I shaved my head when I was 17 years old.
Shaved it off.
Yeah. No, I've never gone my husband bald like Mr. Sheen bald. But I shaved it. I shaved it this low when I was 17, which is a huge decision to make, regardless of race. But like in the black community, I think everyone thought I'd lost the plot. But what had happened, I've been in New York and a woman had crossed the road with this haircut. And in my mind, traffic had stopped for this woman. She was so upright, shoulders back, this great low haircut. Her face was like a halo of light. And 17-year-old me was just like, oh my God, okay, who is that? And I got off the flight from New York, dropped my bags, and went straight to almost every barber in Brixton and begged them to cut my hair. And about 7 of 8 refused. Finally, the last barber says he'll do it. He wants to start at the side though, because he's like, if you hate it, then you can have like a mohawk and just let that bit grow out. I was like, I will pay you an extra $5 to start in the middle. I was like, we're gonna go straight down the middle. And everyone in the shop was really nervous because they all knew my mum. Like, this shop might be shut down in an hour. And the second they took it off, don't get me wrong, I felt very aware of myself and very naked, but I knew it was me. 17, now about to turn 37. I've never had another hairstyle.
Makeup and nails?
A red lip and a red nail. We are going to the grave. We are going to the grave. The red lip again, I saw it on someone else, on a black woman, and I was like, that's amazing. Although in our community, black women are warned not to wear a red lip. We've always been told it doesn't suit us. And it took, like all things, it took a lot of trying because you got to find the right tone. I wanted to find the right lip liner. I wear a very deep plum lip liner. It's like an ombre effect. And that took a few years, but then it became a trademark to the point now, if I don't wear a red lip, everyone thinks something's wrong. And my husband knows, this is so funny, guys. He knows where I am in my cycle based on the tone of red that I'm wearing. The nail, again, my wonderful nail tech, who has been my nail tech and friend since we were 17 years old. She's always done my nails, and the red became a staple, I'd say, over the last 4 years. We kept doing lots of different colors and patterns, and every time she'd come back for a refresh, I'd be like, oh, I hated it. It didn't go with this. So we settled on red.
Now, you're in a position where you have your portrait taken a lot. Are you very controlling of that image?
No.
And of what you're dressed in?
I'm controlling of what I'm dressed in. I wouldn't say I'm controlling. When I do go to sets, people are more inclined to have me self-style because they know how important it is to me and they love my style.
So have you ever used a personal stylist?
I have not, but what a timely conversation. I feel like you're manifesting it. I'm having meetings with.
I'm sorry, there's helicopters overhead today. It's like helicopter heaven here today. So let's just carry on rolling.
I'm having a meeting with a few stylists next week, and I'm really excited. And only because I love styling myself. I love doing that. And I don't think I'm in need of a stylist. I think I have a clear direction about the message I'm sending when I get dressed, which I think is the primary need of a stylist to source that direction for you. Where I'm having a hard time is constantly using my credit card. I'm just like, I have the vision. Can you do the pulling? Do you have the relationship with the designer? Can you help with the fitting? I'm now at a stage in my career where I'm comfortable working with a stylist.
Are you effectively interviewing a couple of stylists?
Literally in the next few days. So
Let's talk about travel.
yes.
Do you have a particular travel look? Are you very conscious of what you're wearing?
I do have a travel look, and it's my husband that picked up on it. It's always a black dress, typically Izimyaki pleats please, because of how it can be folded and molded in, and you can look so chic doing nothing. So yeah, black dress, flat shoes, always ready to run and go, especially if I'm with children. So I don't typically wear black day to day, but whenever I'm traveling, it's a black dress.
Good packer, bad packer?
Wonderful packer, but just an overpacker. Because I know someone will understand this. Nothing haunts like the outfit left in your home country.
Totally with you. It's just a waste.
I've been known to take 4 suitcases for 4 days. It happens.
Oh,
Especially, look at me trying to make it better. Especially because I love coats.
and I suppose you're always making content to a degree.
Yeah, exactly. But although I'm always making content, I think people would say I am the kind of content creator who constantly promotes re-wearing.
Yeah.
I will wear a great look to a red carpet multiple times. I'm not the person that's like, oh no, we've been photographed in that now. We cannot be seen in that. Oh no.
No.
It's the least you can do because I understand that I work in a field that is rooted in overconsumption. Yeah. So what is the least I can do? It's promoting the fact that I purchase these things and I love them and I'm committed to them, and you're going to see it again and again and again.
Which brand is your guilty secret?
My guilty secret is Balenciaga. Outside of the absolute PR disaster that I completely agree with their cancellation. I had already fallen in love with a shape of coat they do called the hourglass coat. It is cut to absolute perfection. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't just enjoy fashion, and my husband says I don't share this element of myself enough, but I'm also fascinated with the history of fashion. And Balenciaga as a house, when we talk about couture and the shape on a woman, I absolutely would lose a limb for some of the older dresses. And like, I'm talking 1960s up Balenciaga couture. No disrespect to the young children, but like the Triple S Balenciaga trailer, give me a break. Nothing new, nothing Y2K. But when it came to who Balenciaga and the House of Balenciaga he used to be, I'll fall on my own sword. It's just.
And then in terms of the high street, who do you think is doing a really good job?
You know what, I need this in because I hate to say this because I don't enjoy giving them their pox, but one must. Marks and Spencer's. More recently, also though, I've been a Marks and Spencer's fan over the years. I just think they are very good at 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 staples. Second to them, no, they are second to who I'm about to say, and I would run off a ledge to them naked, cause
I keep crediting them because it is really impressive.
it's just it's the robe on a budget. It's the definition of minimalistic and the idea of pipe luxury. Not that I care about that, but the cut, the fit, the way you can wash the clothes and they wash so well. Cause. And I've often joked, and I've had this conversation with many of my friends who are in same-sex relationships. All of the good-looking lesbians shop at Cos. I see them in there with their wives, and I'm just like, what is this light source for you guys and Cos? I adore that place, and like, it's the one place my husband's like, when I come into London for work, he's like, please don't stop at Cos.
Well, listen, better cars than Balenciaga.
Thank you.
Shoes or bags or both? Because you strike me as someone who loves both.
It is both, but if I really had to go there, we can lose the bag.
Even your JWNs.
Do you know what is though? I need the height. And so,
Do you wear a lot of platforms?
a lot. I love a Sophia Webster platform. And before Sophia Webster, in my much younger, crazier years, I don't think she's currently still designing shoes. Charlotte Olympia.
Yeah. A guilty secret.
Yeah.
Most expensive item you have ever bought. Not asking for the price tag, just describe the piece.
Oscar de la Renta, ostrich feather, hot pink cake.
Oh, gorgeous God, I can see you in that.
Purchased for my wedding day. And my husband was so sad at how much the dress experience had dented my confidence. He was like, you must have this. And he said, more to the point, it's what you would typically spend on maybe, you know, a Vera Wang piece if you had found it. You must have this. To this day, the only place we've ever seen that cape is on Beyonce in Vogue.
Have you worn it or worn it?
It gets to the point where my husband's like, sit down. It doesn't quite go. I'm like, really?
What is your approach to sustainable fashion?
My approach now is, again, agreeing to spend more to buy less. And I can appreciate you have to be earning a certain amount to be able to do that. It's also in me breaking the chains that certain websites had on me, where you're just constantly scrolling or hitting new in and admitting that it's just that little spike in dopamine and I feel a bit low today. And how some would maybe order a takeaway. I'd go on certain websites and be like, oh, ding, 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 ding. And there's nothing wrong with those websites because I'm a woman that came from very little means. I'm trying to straddle not demonizing people for what they can afford.
Yeah.
It's about how often it's used, how much it's loved, and really a huge responsibility lies with platforms not over making, not like I wish we could have way less trends per year.
Let's spin on some quickfire questions. What fashion advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
You don't always have to be naked. More skin is not the definition of sexy. It doesn't have to be the definition of sexy. But it just always made me feel more self-conscious. The pulling down of the skirt as you're walking, the stilt-like heels, feeling like you always had to cup your own bosoms. Find your own definition of sexy.
Love that. Fashion trend you'd most like to see make a comeback?
Oh, I do love the nipped waist. I love a 40s, 50s. But I am simply obsessed with tailoring on women. A good YSL suit, a good Tom Ford Gucci era suit.
Fashion or beauty trend you'd consign to room 101?
Mini skirts. I don't believe I have the legs for them. That's just not something I want to do. A very thin eyebrow.
Well, we overplucked our eyebrows.
Oh God.
That's funny. God, what were we thinking? Oh, my generation, not yours. Your last impulse buy.
A very, very excellently made Balenciaga turtleneck jumper. Look, I'm going back on everything I said. That Candi worn as a mini dress.
Your views on tattoos.
Love tattoos.
Do you have any?
Oh, I've got 7 or 8. I love tattoos. And I'm very, very clear about this. It's my clear as the day you were born or full sleeves.
Beauty treatment you couldn't give up.
This is, I can't believe I'm saying this because I thought it was a fad, but my red light mask. Yeah, when it was sent to me, I was like, I've used it consistently for 18 months and I really see the difference.
High end or high street?
High street. I'm high street. I recently caught the most gorgeous coat from River Island that I get stopped in multiple times a day.
Minimalism or maximalism?
Maximalism.
Couture or charity shop?
Oh, couture, darling. Let's not lag.
Crocs, cute or cute?
Cute, cute, cute.
Sneakers or stilettos?
Stilettos.
Boyfriends or wide legs?
Boyfriends.
Bodycon or boho?
Boho.
Beanie or beret?
Beanie.
Sports luxe or rock and roll?
Sports luxe.
Red carpet or relax?
Red carpet.
Trend or style?
Style.
Color or monochrome?
Color.
Experimental or uniform?
Uniform.
Cashmere or cotton?
Cotton.
Hoarder or editor?
Hoarder.
Shapewear or sexy lingerie?
Shapewear.
Tights or stocking?
Tights.
Bikini or onesies?
Bikini.
And finally, traditional last question at the end of the day, what do you or don't you wear in bed?
A gorgeous cotton 90.
Candice, I have loved this conversation. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest.
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful.
Great.